From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Coming up on Cronkite News tonight, after 2 officers become sick, we talk to local first responders on how they train to handle unknown substances on the job. Plus, what started out as a class assignment has turned into a school-wide campaign on seatbelt safety that even has caught the attention of a lawmaker. And we show you a new interactive map spotting potholes around the valley and what Phoenix is doing about them.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Imani Stevens.
And I'm Eliav Gabai. Thank you for joining us.
Phoenix police were concerned about 2 officers being exposed to fentanyl during an arrest last night, but today said it was actually cocaine the 2 officers were exposed to.
Cronkite News reporter Bryce Newberry found out what's being done to protect first responders in the field.
This is where 2 Phoenix police officers were sent to the hospital last night after a possible fentanyl exposure. It's a new reality in the wake of this opioid epidemic that first responders are having to learn how to deal with. The officers were making an arrest at Cactus Park when a white powdery substance believed to be fentanyl went airborne. But today, police said it was actually cocaine. Phoenix police spokesman Tommy Thompson said an officer got dizzy and went to the hospital. Local police departments like Tempe changing procedures in the midst of the opioid epidemic.
We tell our officers if they come upon a substance that they don't know what it is, some type of white powdery substance, to absolutely leave it alone, package it, make sure the package is sealed, and just send it straight to the DPS lab for analysis. Glendale
Police Department telling Cronkite News in a statement, quote, officers across the country are facing a growing threat and departments are rushing to provide officers with the training and resources to handle such a dangerous substance as fentanyl. And the National Police Foundation telling Cronkite News, quote, officers face a variety of known and unknown threats simultaneously, making an already difficult job all the more challenging. We FaceTimed with Dr. Andrew Stolbach. His research for the American College of Medical Toxicology addresses safety precautions for first responders. Stolbach telling us, quote, it would be very unlikely for a first responder to get sick from accidental fentanyl exposure because the drug is absorbed very poorly through skin and doesn't go up in the air without help. As a basic precaution, we recommend that first responders wear nitrile gloves and wash off any powder that gets on skin. A mask would be required only in the very unlikely event that there is powder dust in the air. In Phoenix, Bryce Newberry, Cronkite News.
The 2 officers who were exposed are doing well and were released from the hospital.
Senator Martha McSally is urging the U.S. Army to keep protecting Fort Huachuca's role as an important training site for drones. McSally spoke with the Chief of Staff of the Army, General Mark A. Miley, about that during a Senate Armed Services Committee meeting yesterday. Here's part of their exchange.
Do you agree that as we grow our UAS training opportunities or grow UAS missions, that Fort Huachuca is a national asset?
Yes, Fort Huachuca and other capabilities and bases within Arizona and other states are national assets. As far as UAS specific, it's a great place to fly UAS. And there's some other bases around the U.S. that do that. But clearly UAS has a role to play. But in terms of where it bases, where it trains, we're taking a look at all of that. And there's a variety of options. And Arizona is clearly right on the top of the list.
Fort Huachuca, located outside of Sierra Vista in southern Arizona, is the largest unmanned aircraft systems training facility in the world. It has more than 900 square miles of restricted airspace above the community. McSally also pointed out Arizona's more than 300 plus days of sunshine a year make it a good place for flying. One thing Arizona does not have a lot of is water, but officials from 7 states in the Colorado River Basin are taking the final steps toward a new plan they hope will stretch that precious resource. That final step, taking the plan to Congress for approval, as Alyssa Klink reports from our Washington Bureau.
There's not much agreement in Washington these days, but everyone in the Senate Energy and Natural Resources hearing room agreed on one thing. They have to approve the drought contingency plan for the Colorado River Basin.
This is just critically important to move forward for 40 million people
and all that's involved. You all did your hard work. It's now our time to do our hard work.
The plan has been years in the making, hammered out between 7 states, local and tribal governments, even the U.S. and Mexico, all of which rely on the Colorado for their water.
Without this federal law, we would not be able to agree that anyone, including anyone in Arizona, could take their water out of Lake Mead in a shortage condition.
The threat of shortage conditions is the result of what one speaker called the worst drought in its recorded history. The plan aims to head off catastrophic drops in the water levels of Lake Mead and Lake Powell by shifting the amounts each state takes out and puts in now.
I'm happy to report that a bipartisan agreement on legislation has been reached.
With Arizona suffering through its 21st year of drought, the effects can be seen in the lake levels, which are 40% below normal. After years of negotiation, all that remains now is congressional approval of the plan. Arizona Department of Water Resources Director Tom Bushatsky said the 7 basin states are ready to see the plan become a federal law.
Arizona will not have to go this alone. We have partners now. We have partners in California, Nevada, and Mexico, and that's a huge benefit to us. Again, sharing in the risks, sharing in the benefits of the river as a whole.
In Washington, Alyssa Klink, Cronkite News.
Today's hearing was an agreeable affair, with Max Sally quickly picking on Bushatsky's call for cooperation, not litigation, between the states. That call could be tested tomorrow when the same plan is presented at what could be a more contentious hearing in the House.
Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is facing criticism over a proposal yesterday to cut federal funding to the Special Olympics. DeVos defended her proposed budget cuts at a House subcommittee hearing, slashing nearly $18 million in federal funding for the Special Olympics. DeVos proposed to add $60 million more to charter school funding and create a tax credit for individuals and companies donating scholarships for private schools. DeVos's budget proposal would still cut more than $7 billion from the Education Department, about 10% of its current budget. DeVos says Special Olympics should be supported through philanthropy.
Do you know how many kids are going to be affected by that cut, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Pocan, let me just say again, we had to make some difficult decisions with this budget.
Again, this is a question of how many kids, not about the budget.
I don't know the number of kids.
It's 272,000 kids. That's all. I'll answer it for you. That's okay. No problem. It's 272,000 kids that are affected.
Is an awesome organization, one that is well supported by the philanthropic sector as well.
Sure.
In a statement, Special Olympics says in part that we ask federal, state, and local governments to join Special Olympics in remaining vigilant against any erosion of provisions that have made a substantial difference in the lives of people with ID.
Members of a conservative ASU student organization known as College Republicans United are under fire after controversial social media messages and posts surfaced. Cronkite News reporter Marcela Baedo has the latest.
These Facebook private messages contained racist and homophobic comments made by several current and past CRU members. After a public outcry, the question now is whether ASU leadership will take action or not. Get Nazi! Get Nazi! This video shows the moment CRU members were confronted by other ASU students yesterday evening on the Tempe campus. Originally, CRU members organized a public news conference to apologize for the racist messages and photos that have come to light. As you can see, however, the situation became heated after other student groups came face to face with them. We spoke to the faculty advisor of the College Republicans United and asked him if he had heard anything from ASU and any potential disciplinary action.
How can the university prevent anything from happening at someone's house? It's really a student issue, and the university has ways of compelling students to meet certain standards. But my hope is that they will allow us to try to fix this from within.
Their apologies, quote unquote, focused almost entirely on protecting their own asses and their own reputations, and not necessarily on apologizing for the statements themselves.
We reached out directly to ASU for comment, but there was no response as of this broadcast. Marcela Baedo, Cronkite News.
In Maryvale, a new resource center has opened up thanks to a local nonprofit.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we have more information on just exactly what the center offers and how it could be impactful for the community.
My name is Amber Silverio, and I'm a senior at Verado High School. We created Buckle Up VHS to encourage our classmates to always wear their seatbelt. Coming up next, find out more about our campaign.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, covering sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
What started as a simple in-class assignment turned into a safety campaign for young drivers and passengers to wear their seatbelts. Reporter Gabriela Becerra went to Verado High School where Mrs. Eisen's class started the Buckle Up VHS campaign.
Good afternoon, Vipers. This is day 2 of our Buckle Up Verado campaign.
The assignment for Miss Eisen's AP government class was to draft a bill that didn't exist.
The purpose of the assignment is to see the kind of politics that goes into legislation and to see that it's really hard to pass a bill, and bills can die for a lot of reasons.
But Amber Silverio's bill requiring seatbelts in the back seat of a car didn't die.
It was one of like 2 bills that passed all day.
The bill was more than an assignment for Silverio and her classmates because of accidents involving friends.
The idea of these losses in car accidents is just something that was really fresh in my mind.
So the class quickly got behind the idea of turning her bill into action.
Something that we wanted to get out there, something that we wanted to leave an impact on the school.
They're asking their classmates to take this pledge with them.
Come sign our banner, guys.
For me to sign this, I will be buckling up, and I want to set the example for the younger generation coming up and those that aren't buckling up now.
The class raised donations to have banners placed on light poles in the student parking lot with the reminder to buckle up. The bill is even getting the attention of the Arizona legislature. Senator Martin Quesada says it's amazing to see the students taking action.
Young people now are really understanding the power that they have and the influence they have and their ability to not only make noise about an issue, but actually have impacts on the changing of public policy.
But at the end of the day, the students just want to save lives.
Just one person, if they're going to wear their seatbelt because of this, like that's enough for me. I don't know about everyone else, but that's enough for me.
In Buckeye, Gabriela Becerra, Cronkite News.
The banners won't be going up until next school year, and although these graduating seniors won't be around to see it, they say they're excited for the legacy they could leave behind.
A new warning system that would help detect the dust is just months away from being complete. It would warn drivers on a 10-mile stretch of the I-10 between Tucson and Phoenix of potentially deadly low visibility conditions. The Arizona Daily Star reports that the system planned by the Arizona Department of Transportation will combine technologies such as closed-circuit cameras, radar, and digital warning signs. A $12.8 million federal grant is funding the project, which is expected to be installed by October. Maryville is the site of a brand new multi-thousand square foot space dedicated to helping its residents find jobs and acquire new employable skills. Cronkite News reporter John Cardinale was there and tells us what services this new center is offering.
As soon as the opening ribbon was cut, employers and those looking for a job didn't waste time putting this new job resource center in Maryvale to use.
I think it's great. I mean, they need, it's a good way to get people hired, a good way to bring somebody on.
The Engagement Center, located inside Desert Sky Mall, opened its doors recently.
CPLC started in 1969 to confront oppression facing Latinos.
Chicanos por la Causa, the nonprofit organization which focuses on serving the Latino community, is one of the main sponsors of this new initiative.
We have 8,000 square feet in the CPLC Engagement Center. We have 4 classrooms, a tech lounge, some case management rooms where we can meet individually with clients.
Chicanos por la Causa officials say resources like this have been absent from the Maryvale community. Their hope is to bring more job opportunities to this historic part of the valley.
We've been working here in the Maryvale community for the past 2 years. Governor Ducey identified Maryvale and the surrounding communities as an area of high unemployment and need, and he put together a task force led up by Rosalind Boxer at the Office of Economic Opportunity. Long story short, here we are 2 years later. We've helped over 7,330 people find jobs in Maryvale alone.
Helping jumpstart the initiative,
My name is Javier Angulo. I'm the Senior Director of Community Relations for Walmart.
Walmart has given roughly $1.5 million towards the new facility and its programs.
So at Walmart, we understand that the retail jobs are changing and new skills are required in order to be competitive in this new retail world.
One great thing about this new facility is that the doors are open to everyone. No matter how old or young you are, there are services here to support you.
We have a program specifically for youth, in particular Opportunity Youth. We have a program dedicated for youth and adults to help them with training. And then we have some program and case managers that can help people of all ages and backgrounds find that job and really find that career that they're looking for.
With what Chicanos por la Causa is doing is giving an opportunity to the low-income families or minorities or even people that just don't know exactly what they want to do with their lives or how to go about doing things with their lives. So it's very helpful.
In Maryvale, John Cardinelli, Cronkite News.
Advocates for Chicanos por la Causa said their target is to positively affect 10,000 individuals each year through this new center.
Have you noticed all the new potholes around the valley after all the winter rain?
Yes, and coming up next, I'll show you an interactive map tracking all of the potholes and what the city of Phoenix is doing about them.
Current temperatures right now in Phoenix at 81 degrees. Things are expected to warm up as we head into the weekend. I'll be back later on in the show to tell you how to dress for it, so don't miss it.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, covering sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
It's overcast today, similar to what we saw this wet winter, and that took a toll on valley roads. Potholes, cracking in the pavement, and bumpy streets are being repaired with the accelerated pavement maintenance program, and drivers, their tires, and cars are thankful.
There's a lot of potholes when you're driving here. It's like really bumpy.
People like Tony Alguin drives on Phoenix streets to get to work.
Oh, there are a lot of big holes.
Worry, like I need to brake a little bit, like slow down, because like I see, it's like I don't want to damage my vehicle.
But the city of Phoenix is working to fix that within a 2-year period.
Our Accelerated Pavement Maintenance Program is an initiative in the city of Phoenix to do our 5-year resurfacing program sooner and expand the number of miles we can do.
More than 250 major street miles will be repaved. But it's not as bad here in Phoenix. Howard Fleischman, owner of Community Tire Pros and Auto Repair, says streets in cities on the East Coast are much worse.
Tires destroyed by either potholes or somebody hitting a curb, that kind of damage. Probably 6 a week.
Even though Fleischman's shop sees about 6 a week, the city says quality of the streets are important.
The condition of our streets is something that is very visible. It's something that people see, and it's something that people feel. So it's important to keep that infrastructure in good quality.
But the quality can be impacted by things like rain.
We just went through some torrential rains, and I'm seeing some potholes pop up in many different places.
This is a new tire. You can see just how it looks. But this tire isn't even together anymore. A car hit a pothole, continued to drive, and that caused more damage.
But there's just some situations you can't avoid it.
After the hit, Fleischman says the cost can vary because of car insurance, desired tires, and other repairs needed.
Hit a pothole with one of those and break it, you're out $750, where a standard automobile maybe $100.
To avoid the damage, the city is asking for your input on where to repair next.
Residents can always let us know when there's something immediate that needs to be resolved, and we'll get on that right away.
When you see a pothole, cracking in a street, or notice a bumpier ride, share which streets need repair on their interactive map. You can also call or email the City of Phoenix Street Transportation Department.
Well, great job as always, Imani. And while rain is what caused these potholes, Ashley Carter joins us now. Ashley, is there any rain coming up for us?
Not in the near future. I mean, take a look at the next 8 hours. We're going to remain in those 80s until 8 o'clock tonight. We will slowly dip back down into those lower 70s, hitting 69 degrees at midnight. We're going to warm right back up going into your Thursday morning. On your morning commute, 63 degrees with plenty of sunshine. So it's safe to say you don't have to go into those cars early anymore and warm your car up. It's going to be plenty good weather when you're heading out to work. And by noon, your lunch hour, 78 degrees. So grab a friend, eat outside, because tomorrow's going to be a super nice, sunny, warm day. By the time you get off work, 84 degrees, but that is not our high. Tomorrow in Phoenix, we're going to hit 86 degrees, so near 90, usually around tomorrow this time of year. We're already in that 90-degree weather, but we're taking a little bit longer this year and embracing these 80s. Upstate, they're going to be in those 60 and 70-degree temperatures. Looking at our 7-day forecast, plenty of sunshine headed into your weekend with that high at 84 degrees, 56 degrees for that low. The clouds are coming back on your Saturday, however, with that high at 85 degrees, they won't last long. Sunday, we're going to have that sunshine back with near 90 degrees at 87 degrees for your high. And Monday, we're going to be the closest to 90 we are going to see for a little bit with that high at 89 degrees with some cloudy weather. But I think you should embrace this nice 80-degree weather while it lasts, because before you know it, it's going to be blazing out there. From the Cronkite News Weather Center, Ashley Carter.
It's been a few years since we've seen a major sports championship played here in Arizona.
That is true, Imani. But up next, we'll take you to the track to tell you when NASCAR's championship race is coming to Arizona.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
ISM Raceway underwent major renovations in 2018. And in 2020, it's taken another big step, this time in hosting NASCAR's championship race. Cronkite News reporter Marnie Kaufman went to the track for the championship's announcement.
NASCAR officials alongside Governor Doug Ducey announced on Tuesday that Arizona will host the NASCAR Championship Series in 2020 at the newly renovated ISM Raceway.
This is a historic day for ISM Raceway.
With NASCAR Championship Weekend coming to Arizona, Phoenix will see an economic impact that other championships, such as the Super Bowl and Final Four, brought to the Valley.
Bring a significant number year over year with the 2 NASCAR races that we already have on the calendar, and to just amplify that one to be the championship weekend, I think it's going to only increase what we put back into the community.
In Avondale, Marnie Kaufman, Cronkite News.
The championship race will take place on November 8th, 2020. ISM Raceway will host the penultimate race of this NASCAR season on November 10th.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, legislative leaders talk about why lawmakers failed to pass a charter school reform bill. And we'll hear about an event focused on the relationship between free speech and a free press. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. From pulling carbon out of the air to deflecting the sun's heat, new experiments to combat climate change. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.